Rex here. I wanted to do a little review of this 2021 Commencal TR 29. This is a medium version frame. This is the essential build, so kind of a mid-level build. Pretty nice components on it. I did make some upgrades. This bike does not need any upgrades, but some of it, you know, shorter stem and some different gearing and stuff was for my preference. But it and some of the, I'll go over some of the details on why I made some of the changes and how you can smartly upgrade a bike. So this thing, I sold my other bike. I had a Polygon D7 last summer, and I sold that in the fall. Got a good deal. Like, it was 300 bucks less than I paid for it. Bought this thing, ordered it, I believe it was early November of 2020. It was expected March delivery. I got some communication from Commencal maybe mid-March saying it's going to be a little late. Basically, they were going to be on time, except for the ships were backed up outside the port of Los Angeles, and getting things off, unloaded and stuff has kind of been a big problem in the last year. So that was kind of the delay. For me, that it is a long time to wait for a bike that you paid for, but there was some positives. Here in Minnesota, not a lot of riding from November till March anyways. I was hoping to have like a month to kind of get everything, you know, get the tires done, tubeless, and some different, you know, get the components on and stuff, but it didn't. It come a little later. Got it in mid-April, which wasn't too bad. But you know, the one thing about, well, the good thing about ordering it in November and not getting it until April was, you know, I paid for it in advance, and the price actually went up $400, so I didn't see any overcharges because it was paid for. So that was a positive. One of the kind of negatives is I had like Black Friday deals and different Christmas specials and stuff to buy stuff to put on it. So I had, you know, a few months to buy some components for it and stuff, and we'll go over why I bought the things I did buy. This thing, like I said, doesn't need any upgrading. The essential build is pretty nice from the factory, but this thing is just a gorgeous bike. All the components I wanted. The Fox 36 it's not the Kashima coated factory one, but it's definitely a great fork, sturdy. KS dropper post, SLX drivetrain, Shimano brakes, and we'll go over some of the why I chose the brake pads I did for it too. So yeah, it was just an awesome looking bike. It's everything I wanted. So we'll go through some of the upgrades I did. One of the things is, and I kind of look over eBay once in a while, and I did come across that DPX2 shock. The bike comes with the Fox Float DPS. Really good shock, probably all I need. But the DPX2, I saw that one. I think it was around $250 I paid for that. And one of the things, if you do upgrade a bike, you know, if I rode this bike for 2 months, 4 months, this shock is used. When I go to resell it, it's used. If I take it off on a new bike, it's new, and I can sell it, you know, it's not in packaging and stuff, but new takeoffs get pretty good, almost new price. So that was a positive. I can probably sell this for $50 less than I paid for that one. So you know, I'll probably just keep it for a spare in case that one needs a rebuild. I don't have to rebuild it right away. Another thing was gearing. I went with the absolute black 30-tooth gear. We got the neighbor dog just deciding to bark now, but the stock one's a 32. What I found with my riding around here, we get about 1,000 foot of climbing per 10 miles, I believe it is, or something. So for my abilities, a 30 is a little bit better, and I went with the oval chain ring. I tried one last year, liked it and stuff. So it's a one piece. You do need a tool. I had to buy the Park tool, the LRT4, to get the nut off, to change that out. That was pretty simple. Another thing I upgraded was the brakes. Went with these. Casimir, on his Pink Bike review, kind of overview, he didn't do a full review of that yet, but he talked about the 2-piston brakes. With the 203 rotors, they're pretty good, but he was kind of questioning the 2-piston brakes on a build like this. So I was a little worried about the brakes being somewhat inadequate. So I got these MTX. These are the Red Label race pads for Shimano XT. These are actually the stock ones in there, but we put the Red Label ones on it. I haven't bedded them in yet. So, and then having a 3D printer. Having a 3D printer came in handy. I printed some stuff. A socket for the top cap on the air cylinder. The Fox 38 and 36 are both 32 millimeter. That worked well, taking that off, because I did add some spacers. I didn't know what the Shimano tool used on the crank on the other side, on the non-drive side. There's a little plastic nut that that fits into just on the crank. And I did some volume spacers for the DPX2. This one's for the DPS, or DPS, I think. But that's some of the upgrades I made. Really like the brake levers. Everything really feels good. We'll kind of get the camera here and go over some of this stuff. Okay, we'll go over some of the upgrades and look a little bit closer at the bike and some of the things I changed. I went with these ODI grips. I kind of had a theme. I had the gray chainring and this, and I was kind of going with some matching colors. I like the feel of those. I rode a friend's bike. The brake levers, these are a really nice feeling, kind of a factory feeling brake lever. I went with this Pro Taper stem. This was just kind of a, it wasn't just because of the brand, but I think it was like $59 on eBay. It's like a $99 stem. It was a little bit, the main reason for changing the stem, the stock one's 50 millimeters, and I went I wanted to go a little shorter. This is a medium frame, and I am 5'7", so this bike is good from 5'7" to 6 foot. I thought I was a little on the shorter end, so I thought I'd shorten the reach a little bit. I did some custom machining to it, so we got and then to lighten it up a little bit, and then there was some underneath here too. Milled a pocket in the bottom. It was a little bit beefy, the stem was, so I took a few ounces off it there. Of course, the Fox mudguard, that looks really nice on that fork. There's the DPX2. And I did have to make some bushings for the DPX2. The bushings, the DPX2, actually, the tune code on that one is for a Ibis Ripmo, and they use a different bushing system, so I had to make some bushings because I wanted to keep this with the right bushings, and some of the bushings were, the Ripmo one had a steel insert in here and then a bushing inside that, so I couldn't just use the bushing. So I'm a machinist, so I made some Delrin bushings for it. The chain ring. I actually did change the chain out. I wanted a spare chain to have on hand. You know, sometimes with COVID and everything going on, I wanted to have a spare chain. And talking with my son and stuff, he kind of heard that the XT chain lasts quite a bit longer, so I went with a new XT chain. It was only like $4 more or $5 more. And then so I took the chain off. I had to shorten it one link anyways because I went with 2 less teeth. So I ended up just putting the XT on it, and my SLX chain will be the spare. Went with these pedaling innovations pedals. I kind of had a little bit of trouble with my arch on my foot last year and stuff. I'm getting up there in age and stuff, so I thought I'd give these a try. My son thought they'd be good at the bike park because he gets a little sore in his arches. at the bike park. Went with the one-up bash guard. One-up bash guard with the has a built-in guide mounts on the bolts there and stuff, so that was a pretty easy install. Went with a Groundkeeper frame protection kit. It fit pretty good, but if you look really close, it's kind of hard to see, but there was actually some texture to the sticky side, and it wasn't, I mean, honestly it looks pretty good from here, but just up close it kind of had a little bit of a, not just tiny air bubbles and stuff, like you can kind of tell over the black a little bit. So the MTX brake pads, obviously they kind of look the same as the stock pads, but they're supposed to be less noisy in the rain and stuff, and so kind of wanted to give them a try. I think they're going to have a little bit better braking power. The stock organic ones were you know, something I wanted to change out anyways. And the frame protection goes on the chain stays and seat stays and stuff. The KS dropper lever, I might need to do some adjusting in the cockpit a little bit, but all in all, just the bike, I'm just stoked. Just looks great just sitting there. That was one of the reasons I went with the essential build. Was obviously the fork is better, but the DT Swiss wheels, I kind of heard the E13s were a little prone to bending, or you know, nicking and bending easier, so the upgrade to the DC Swiss was a positive. I went with this Minmin DHF. The dissector's kind of more of a rear tire from what I've heard. I haven't ran it before, but the Minion, I kind of looking at a few different ones, and the Minion's a good tire paired up with the dissector. I bought a pair of them in Max Grip on eBay for like $100. I got them pretty cheap, and you know, the weight on them and stuff, and I wanted the XO protection, but these ended up, they have the DH, they also say they're DH. Well, then I was building the bike, and I weighed it. I did weigh it before I did any upgrading, so I put it together, tubes in the tires, I just put it together stock out of the box. Now when you do get these out of the box, it was it's put the front wheel on, tighten your stem and bars and stuff. It's really simple. Put some pedals on it and stuff, so it's not too bad to do. But so I put it together. It was like 34.2 or 3 pounds. And I did, you know, I put the bash guard on and some other things. The stem, change out the stem. The stem should actually be a little bit lighter. I was kind of conscious with my upgrades to not add too much weight. So the chain, you know, the chain ring should be a little bit lighter. The stem was a little bit lighter, but then I added a fender, you know, and I guess I didn't say that I got the race face crank guards, and so I was kind of weight conscious with all my choices. So then I had most upgrades done, and I didn't do the tubeless on the tires yet and change out the front tire yet, and it was actually just only slightly heavier, like 34.4 or something. You know, it was only slightly heavier, and I was pretty happy about that. And I thought, well, we take the tubes out, we're actually going to be a little bit lighter, maybe in the high 33s. Well, then I waited a couple times after I was done doing the tires, and the thing weighed like 35 something. I'm like, what added weight? I mean, I thought my scale was off and stuff, but this tire actually is a DH tire. It must, my son thought it was an older ones where it says it's an XO and DH. So anyways, this is like a 1250 gram tire. So I'm probably going to take this one off, you know, keep it around for a spare or whatever. It's a little heavy. That's adding, you know, 0.6 of a pound over what the rear one weighs. So we'll probably change that one out. But it didn't go through it. This one is the grip damper. I did buy a Grip 2 damper this winter on eBay. I got one for like $230, a brand new Grip 2 damper. I didn't really need it, but I thought, well, the Grip 2 is better and stuff, or we'll try it. But it ended up being a used, I don't know if it was a takeout or whatever. They kind of mislabeled it, so I ended up sending that back. I emailed some people. The Grip damper is a perfectly capable damper for me. I try to get, for my weight, I'm like 240 pounds, so the person I was emailing with and stuff, they thought this grip damper would work good for me. I added 2 tokens to the spring side, so so we'll be taking this tire off. Just a little heavy. I'm just kind of being a little bit weight conscious. Here's a look at the SLX cranks, the race face. I think these were a small. If you look on Raceface's website, they do kind of say which one fits certain cranks and stuff. I do really like the frame protection. This is like really thick, nice soft feeling material. They got it up here on the seat stay too, so it's really nice protection on that. Plus they have protection on the whole lower side here, so that's really nice too. Really happy with the way the thing looks. I think it's going to perform as well as it looks. Depending on the weather, it's pretty nice today. We did get a little rain earlier today, so I don't know if the trails are dry or not, but try and get a little bit riding footage in. And everyone sees people ride. They're kind of boring. I like the in-depth looking at the bikes better. So I think I covered everything. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you like the bike. One of the upgrades I was looking at doing was some carbon bars to save a little bit of weight, maybe get a little bit of flex in them, stuff for comfort and stuff. These bars actually aren't too bad. They feel good. But one of the things I was leery of upgrading them, because I don't really know what rise or comfort I want. Kind of see how these feel on the bike, and then if I want a little more rise, I can get something with a little more rise or similar. So really, one thing I guess I didn't cover too was when I was changing out the tires, there was a rim band on the wheel, and I wasn't confident that it was actually tape. It seemed like more of a rim band. So I asked on the Commencal Facebook page, Commencal owners, and then some said, oh yeah, that's tubeless ready. The bike comes tubeless ready, so you just need to add sealant in a stem, or in a valve stem. And then other people were like, no, that's a rim band. That's not adhesive any at all. So ended up taking it off, and it wasn't adhesive at all. You could just get it with your finger, hook it, and it was just a protection for the tube to not get cut on the holes in the rim. So you're going to need rim tape and stems when you do tubeless with one of these. So I think that's about it. First ride on the new bike. We'll see how it goes at Game Haven here. A place I've been to quite a bit. Nothing too radical here and stuff, but it's a nice place to get a first ride in.
Bike has a ton of, I don't feel a lot of pedal bob climbing, sitting and climbing. A little more when I'm standing. Has a lot of traction, either sitting climbing or when I'm standing and climbing. I notice a big difference in some traction. My bike last year, if I stood and climbed, it was loose at all. It was spinning. This one seems a lot better. So we got 7.7 miles in. Bike feels really good. I think I need to play around with the rebound and pressures a little bit and stuff, but headset started creaking. First ride, that's kind of, well, second ride I rode on the street, but bike feels really good. The corner's better than my last one. My last bike was more XC geometry, steeper head tube, but just never really felt comfortable in the corners, bank corners and stuff. This one feels a little more stable. Still getting used to it, jumping and such. Definitely more plush. Small bump compliance and stuff. It's just got more travel. Thanks for watching.